So the question of the day is, are you using old templates or new themes? Let us know in the chat. Do you know the difference? Do you not know the difference? And if you know, are you using templates or themes? Let us know in the chat pane, and then we can go from there. So Megan, do you wanna tell people who you are?
Yes, hi guys. I am Megan Sullivan. I am the creative director at Nextiny Marketing. I have been working in the HubSpot CMS hub for over 5 years now. I work primarily with HubSpot CMS websites and marketing campaigns, landing pages, etc. I've put together and launched 50 plus HubSpot CMS websites. I live, eat, and breathe HubSpot CMS. Such a fan platform. I'm passionate about data-driven design and UX, so creating really clean and clear experiences on your site. That's beautiful design that works and converts. And also really big fans of StoryBrand and the StoryBrand methodology. So you'll hear some of that through these office hours come through. We're big fans of StoryBrand over here.
Megan, I'm Gabriel Marco, the CEO of Nextiny Marketing. We are a diamond HubSpot agency. I'm the owner and founder and CEO of the company. I've been 20 years in this business. We are a 100% HubSpot CMS agency, very proud of that. And I'm also a no-code enthusiast. So I can say other personal, things that I'm an enthusiast of, but definitely no code enthusiast. Everything that we can do with no code or low code, we will do. And I'll share some resources there. On a father of 4 awesome kids, and my amazing wife and partner Jackie is the CEO of our agency too. So never a dull moment in the house. And I'm a typewriter collector, and we also collect cookbooks. We have a ton of cookbooks, and we cook a lot here in the house. I'll share some links there of who we are. And also, if you want to know more about no code or low code, I shared an article with 30 no code tools that we here at Nextiny. So let's talk a little bit about the agenda for today and who we are and why we're here and what we're doing. First of all, we're going to go through, what is this CMS for marketers office hours, why we are doing these events, and how it connects with other things we're doing with HubSpot Academy and the HubSpot community. We're going to talk about 3 quick wins. Megan will share some of her experience on everything live, checking SEO, making sure that we optimize these sites. We're going to talk about grading your site, running SEO scan with HubSpot, and call to actions and messaging, because it's not just about design or development or putting the website work and do what we need the website to do. And then we'll go through Q&A. If you have any questions throughout the event, just let us know. And you can put it in the chat pane, and we can go over that at the end for sure. All right. So the HubSpot CMS for Marketers study group and the Hug events work together. So one of the things that we want to share with you is not only the link to events soon. We're going to have events every month on this HubSpot user group. It's a CMS for Marketers HubSpot user group. It's all about creating websites and website experiences that don't require developers. Of course, we work with developers. Megan can develop some sites, and we can take websites to the next level with advanced development. But this CMS for Marketers study group and the Hug events are about how to do code without going too deep into coding and development, and how marketers can create beautiful websites, very highly effective sites, and optimize them over time so they become, amazing pieces of the big pie of marketing, sales, and service that we're doing by using a great website in the middle. So we have not only these Hug events that I share the link there, but also we have a community that you can join, and you can ask questions. That we're going to be there for you, and our whole team is going to actually answer these questions. And the idea is to learn. It is all about learning from each other. What's interesting is that we've done this in the past. This is not our first HubSpot user group. This is not our Hug event. We've been doing these for years, And we also run the video HubSpot user group and the video study group, the video marketing study group in HubSpot Academy. So we're going to share those links too. And I know we have another slide for that. Community allows us to create these micro communities internally that are very specific. So we've been running this community for about a year now. It's almost 1,000 members now. And it's all about video and video marketing and video production and equipment and software and hardware. So if you want to join us there, there's a ton of information already, a lot of posts, a lot of people sharing what they like, what they don't like, what they need, their projects. And the idea again is to learn together. And we also run video marketing office hours events every month. So you're going to have video marketing office hours and CMS from us every month. So we're very excited about making these communities grow. And if you want to join us, please do. Let's talk a little bit about what we're here for. So first of all, HubSpot CMS for Marketers Study Group and the office hours events. These events are going to run every month. And you can, again, join us in the community where we throughout the month and help you with projects. But the idea is to get, all your questions answered about the HubSpot CMS in the different levels, starter, pro, enterprise. We have had experience building websites and website experiences with all three packages. And also understanding, not only questions about website, the HubSpot CMS itself, but website design, website development, and messaging and optimization and user experience and conversion optimization. So think about all your questions regarding your websites. We're going to explore some updates. Every time there's an update, we're going to have new things to share with you. We're going to go through, making the most out of your HubSpot CMS. And of course, all the latest trends in website design in general, and the HubSpot CMS in particular.
Awesome.
All right, Megan, do you want to start with the presentation today?
Yes, I will kick it off. And just to reiterate, we want this half an hour every month to be as useful as possible for you guys to get the most actionable data that's helpful for you when you're working inside the HubSpot CMS. So please, if you have questions, if you have specific issues you want to see covered in one of these office hours, this is the space to do it. And we would love to partner with you and help talk through some of your main pain points or things you want to learn more about inside the HubSpot CMS. So with that today, we're just going to go through 3 quick wins that you can do today, tomorrow, this week for your website that are low impact action items, but have high impact for your website. The first thing we'd recommend doing is actually grading your website. So HubSpot has built a grader that is powered by HubSpot, and it takes into account some of the markers that search engines use when they're ranking your website. So you not only want to have a beautiful website, but like Gabriel was saying, you want to make sure that people can find your website when they're looking for it. So you can see it's broken out into 4 different categories. So performance, SEO, mobile, and security. And this test will actually give you a really good indicator for how your current website stacks up and how your current website is doing ranking wise. There are, like Gabriel said, this is not a developer source. So as you scan your website, you might see some things on there that are a little bit more high level. So you might see some JavaScript libraries or some HTML items, and those might be things you want to talk to your developer about, maybe clearing up. But there are also going to be some items and potential issues on your site that are really quick, easy fixes that you can actually do on your end today, like right after this call, that have a high impact, because you want people to be able to find your site when they're searching for you. And having a site is going to help that ranking. And just like getting all these little pieces together is going to set you up for a really clear foundation there. So some of the things you might see are making sure your pages have meta descriptions, making sure your image sizes are not too large, making sure you have descriptive link text. So one of the things is, if you have just like click here or learn more, a simple change you can make on your site is, explore our resources, or making those actual links more descriptive. So there's small changes, and this website grader will actually give you some insights as to what types of changes you should be making there. And if you do want to dig into some of the more comprehensive stuff, somebody will add a link in the chat for HubSpot actually has a academy course that goes all into every single element that's a part of this website grader. So if you're wanting to dig into specific pieces, you can do that there as well. We say our gold standard is 75 or higher is what you're really aiming for when it comes to grading your website. If you have something that's maybe 70 or lower, you might want to take like action to get that score up a little bit, because it's a good sort of monitor of simple changes you can make that again can have a big impact for your site. So I think we have the website grader popped in the chat if you want to go ahead and grade your site now, and then somebody will also add, or if it's not added already, that the HubSpot course where you can learn more about some of the items that will come up. Some other awesome tools to grade your website there's a Pingdom website speed test. So a ton of what you'll see when you're grading your site is the page speed across the board, from the different JavaScript and coding elements to your site to specific images and videos that you have on your site. Pingdom, you can actually scan page by page, and it'll tell you specific elements on your site and what their load speed is. So you can say, hey, what are the slowest loading elements on my site? Let me focus on restructuring and fixing those elements first. It's a really cool tool that's free. We also have Google Page Speed Insights, which has a ton, again, of helpful insights that can get really granular if you're wanting to make some of these changes to your website. Moz has a ton of free SEO tools if you're looking for specific SEO resources to make changes for your site. So you can see I have up there, they have like a free domain SEO metric. So you can put in your website and they'll tell you how you're stacking up against other websites. We'll also add in, because we are talking so much, and probably a huge thing of what you'll see is image compression. That's one of the things we see across the board pretty much every time we crawl a site, is images that are too large. There's a ton of free tools online that you can just drag and drop bulk images, compress them, and then re-upload them. We try to keep all of our images under 250 kilobytes. So that's something to keep an eye out for, but making sure you're uploading and resizing those. There's a ton of free tools, and we added some in the chat now for you as well, so you can go take a look. So the second thing, and this again is a little bit more of a technical piece, but again, going to have huge impact, and an underused HubSpot tool, in my opinion. So HubSpot actually has an SEO scanner that they will crawl for your entire site. So under marketing website SEO, you can actually run a scan. And the cool thing about this scan is it'll scan if your whole website's hosted in HubSpot, or maybe just your blogs or landing pages are hosted in the HubSpot CMS, whatever's hosted there, HubSpot will scan it. And then they will give you a list of action items. And the really cool and realistic thing about this, if you are also a busy marketer with a million things to do, is that you can sort these and filter them by priority. So let's say you say high priority and then low difficulty. So what I would recommend doing after this is just going ahead, if you haven't run that scan already, running that scan and then assessing all of the high impact and low difficulty items and just knocking those out. We recommend running this scan every 30 to 60 days, so that HubSpot's going to recrawl. If you have any issues come up, it'll index any of the issues that have already been resolved. But it's really like a spoon-fed way to make sure you're getting on top of your SEO, and you're definitely taking action for some of those higher impact items that, again, are low difficulty and easy to do inside of the HubSpot CMS platform. So another tip that has a high impact and is fairly easy to accomplish. My third recommendation here, and it's something that we see across the board and might be hopefully feel somewhat obvious to you, but the goal, in our opinion, of all of your websites should be to make it easier for prospects to understand what your business does, how it affects them, and also how they can do business with you. So one thing that we see across the board and we make sure is important in every single piece of our sites is creating a really clear, direct call to action and making that really obvious on the site. You don't want to make me as a prospect have to use energy to figure out, okay, I'm sold. You have a really fast website that's really beautiful. but I don't know what to do, what step to take to actually engage with your business and do business with you. And if you can make that really clear on the site in a direct way, you're going to help save me from having to burn those calories to figure that out on my end. So buy now, register today. You can see this is a story brand example, which again, we're huge fans of. It's really obvious that the goal of the prospect on this site is to register today. So you see they have register now in the top right corner as well as in the center. So whatever that main first step it is for me as a prospect to do business with you, this is a simple change that you can make on your site that will have high impact, and we would highly recommend making this happen as well. Some pro tips, if this is something you say, hey, we already have our direct call to action set up, some pro tips for how to best implement and optimize and use this call to action. Number one, keep it consistent. Something we see a lot is maybe you have like a schedule a visit or a let's talk or a contact us, and all of those buttons are going to the same page. We would recommend keeping whatever that call to action is consistent. There's some studies that show that your brain needs to see something about 8 times before it registers it. And what you're doing is you're just diluting the impact of that call to action. And I have to burn calories to say, okay, what's the difference between schedule a visit and talk now? So that's a really easy impact that you can make right now, is just keeping all of those consistent, optimizing for that. Number 2, use clear and direct messaging. So a lot of times people use branded messaging or verbiage that's a little bit unclear. I would recommend keeping it, schedule a visit, get your quote, buy now, whatever that is, keep it really direct and obvious. Again, the real estate that you're going to want to put this call to action, I'd recommend having it in the top right of your menu. I'll go back to this story brand example. You can see they have that register now in the top right of their menu. Again, on your homepage, I would recommend having it in the front and center. So top right, front and center of the homepage. And then for your internal pages, it doesn't necessarily need to be front and center, but I would recommend repeating it often. So you're just keeping that 8 times where it's like, hey, when you're ready to do business with us, this is what you do. As HubSpotters and marketers, you guys might also have some top of the funnel or transitional calls to action, which is awesome and really important to have. Another piece, if you want to take this main call to action to the next level, is creating a clear hierarchy for me as a viewer of which call to action is more important visually. So you can see that by big, bold, outlined, and I know that that is the hierarchy of where I should go first. Then you have the watch video or maybe download our ebook or get our guide. That feels a little less prominent to me, but I know it might be a relevant next step. So that's something that we would recommend as well. And even keeping the buy now button being the only button on the site that is this particular color and particular style, just to really reinforce, hey, if you're ready to do business with us, this is how you do it. So that is our 3 helpful tips. Gabriel, I don't know if you have anything to add before we move on to questions.
No, that sounds great. Actually, on the call to action side of things, sometimes, to actions, that's a thing that everybody has. It's not a big deal. But thinking about it, like you said, giving hierarchy, so you understand when you're on the site, people make decisions in seconds. So their brain is making a decision for them even before they think about it. So making it very clear, very easy. But then also, I know for a fact, because we do this a lot for clients, is that we then analyze these things. And are they performing? Is people scrolling down? Are people clicking on this one more than this one? Do we make this more of an important call to action? Is this call to action on mobile better than desktop? So all of those things, that's another thing that we can discuss in these events, is how will we evaluate success on these efforts. Having the call to action there, making sure that it's clear, is going to be important. And then over time, we recommend tools like Lucky Orange or Hotjar, things that will analyze the usability of your site and will tell you people are spending time here, or more people are down, people on this page, people are scrolling down. So I think that's also kind of like the next step. First, as a quick win, definitely defining these things very clearly. but then also thinking long term. It's all about understanding how people are browsing your site and what you can learn from that. I don't recommend you spend countless hours watching videos of people going through your site, because that can become a little crazy making. But definitely every once in a while, especially when you're doing conversion optimization and user experience evaluations, it's reviewing these tools, having them there, and then reviewing them regularly. Megan, do you have anything to add on that end?
No, I think that's a great recap there. It's great to start with a good foundation, and when you have clear foundation of, hey, this is our button, then you can do some of those testing. Even that HubSpot's built in, if you have a large enough audience to do some A/B testing and say, okay, maybe we say buy now, or maybe we say, get your quote. Let's compare which call to action performs better or is a higher performer. But having this clear on your site is such a simple change that could feel obvious, but I'm surprised at how often people make the user go and have to dig for, hey, I'm ready to do business with you. What do I do now? What's that next step I take? And reducing calories as much as possible is a theme that you guys will hear us talk about a ton for your prospect. Make it as easy as possible for me to get the information I'm looking for, to understand what I need, and then to engage and interact with your business for sure.
Yeah. What would you say is the percentage of our clients that come to us with a new website development that don't have this figured out?
I would say a very high percentage, a very high percentage for sure. But it's a small change with big impact.
Definitely. That's awesome. Any questions, guys? I know we're getting close to the half an hour. Do you have any specific questions about this or anything else you're doing with websites? Are you building your site? Are you thinking about redesigning your site? Tell us in the chat. And if you want to get off mute, you can let us know. But first of all,
we'd love to hear too if you have topics you'd want us to cover in future. We're planning on sort of diving into different themes and template options, and there's so many things to cover within the HubSpot CMS. So we'd love to hear if you have any ideas you'd love to have us explore further in future office hours.
And in the meantime, we want to know how we're doing. We always want you to rate us. So rate us from 1 to 10. 10 is the how did we do today? And we always want to hear feedback and make things better over time. We will also share again the next events that we have, and also the study group, the marketing study group, CMS for Marketers study group that we are running in HubSpot Academy. Any questions, guys? Anything else? All right. Angelina, Julie, Under. Anybody, any questions? There's something there. 10. All right, Under. That's right on. That's awesome. Awesome. Anybody? We did. There's always room to grow, but definitely we appreciate the praise there, and we want to keep making these events useful for you. So if you don't have time, or you didn't share it here, or you're watching this, because we have a lot of people that register and then they watch this on their own, go back to the HubSpot Academy, the HubSpot community, and join us at the CMS for Marketers study group. Share with us what you want to learn in the future and what other things you want to talk about. Or if you have any questions, just ask the question and we'll be more than happy to help you. All right, everybody, we'll give you another minute to make sure that everybody asks their questions if they have them. And if not, we'll let you go. Thank you for joining us today on the CMS for Marketers office hours. We'll run these events every month. And also we'll have Q&As throughout the month in HubSpot Community's CMS for Marketers study group. So thank you again for joining us today, and have a great week. Take care.